Oh my God, Sony, you did it again. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Mike Fletcher for the last video of the evening for the E3 press conferences for at least day two. There's one more tomorrow, which is Nintendo. Good luck, Nintendo. And to all the other conferences, especially you, Microsoft, this is how a conference is done. For the second consecutive year, Sony absolutely annihilates everything in the competition and is probably going to be walking out once again the E3 conference champions. I mean, this was unbelievable. It started out with a God of War reveal for PS4, and the trailer looked absolutely amazing. It showed a little son, and then you got to see Kratos himself. The place absolutely roared the minute you saw Kratos. He comes out, he starts talking about, trying to teach his son everything about the battles, about everything, hunting. So he tries to go after a deer. He misses. Obviously, the son's very inexperienced, not really used to doing any hunting or anything like that. So you get to see a little bit of some of the action. He goes up against it looked like a warlock or something. Pretty badass graphics on the game itself, and it looked absolutely amazing. And then at the end, his son shoots the deer. He kills the deer, guts it, and then he's like, "Son, you're ready for the next phase." And they pull back to the world, shows a dragon flying through. It looks like you're going to see Kratos and his son working together as maybe a possible co-op for the future of what's going to be gaming as we know it. God of War is a legendary game, and God of War is a staple for all fans out there. They are so amazing. So it's a PlayStation legendary game. And once again, you're going to get to see it with your very eyes very soon, even though, unfortunately, they say currently in production. So that means we're not probably going to get it out right away. Not yet. But when they do, get ready. It's going to be a monster game. Then we finally got to see The Last Guardian. They finally released it after many years of development. We saw a little bit of some gameplay from The Last Guardian. This game gonna look amazing, but it looks like this is gonna be one of those games that's gonna really tug at your heartstrings. This could be a tearjerker, ladies and gentlemen. And when it does, we are gonna see some amazing action, some amazing graphics, and truly what could be an absolute thrilling game for The Last Guardian. We got to see it. We saw a little bit at E3 last year. We got a little more this year. What's the makeup going to look like? We'll find out soon enough. Then we went into basically Horizon Zero Dawn E3. I mean, we saw the gameplay. We saw everything about that. That looked absolutely amazing, guys. It almost reminds me of Witcher with a lot of robots. It kind of feels like that type of way. How's that going to look? How's that going to look in the next generation? Well, we'll see. I mean, it definitely looks really good. I like the presentation. I like everything that came out of it, and it definitely looks like there's going to be some really, really, really strong indication on how this game's going to look. Next thing we got was Detroit Become Human. I mean, we saw a hostage situation, but the story is you can take the story in many different directions. It could be, your decisions in that game is going to affect the way this game is going to play out in the landscape, in the whole scheme of things. So it's not just going to be just one little area, one little thing. It could be multiple things, a lot of different scenarios, how this could play out. And for me, I think this could be one of the games of the year because I was absolutely just floored with the graphics, with the decision making. You go up against this guy who's like a machine. He's probably got your daughter. How's that going to play out? How's that going to look in a grand scheme, and at the end of certain things, and how's that gonna look in the grand scheme of things, or how's that gonna look on an overall realm or an overall look. And I truly believe this could be, like I said, a game of the year. The decisions you make in this game is gonna affect the outcome of the story, and that's a game that I really like. It's basically a base type game where if you want your daughter to be killed, she can die. If you want to save her life, she can be saved. If you want to kill the attacker, he's dead. So it really becomes a grand scheme and an end of it could be anything you want. So I mean, the decisions are all up to you, and that makes it so amazing. Then we got a new biker zombie game called Days Gone. They showed it at the very beginning with the IP, and then they showed a lot more, especially at the end of the night. They showed some actual gameplay. Oh my god, the gameplay at the end was absolutely crazy. I mean, that was a really good storyline. You saw basically apocalyptic type of warfare. Guns were used, blasting away, trying to make things unbelievable. We'll wait and see what happens with that story. So then we had okay, this was the only downside that I felt of the entire thing was first off we had was Call of Duty Modern Warfare, a remastered version of the game. It's just new footage from Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There was really nothing more amazing about it. It was just something that they just threw out there for the fans out there, just to whet their appetite with this game. And then we got a major stunner, a major surprise that broke out. Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 7 was announced for the whole world, and here's the kicker, guys. The demo is for Sony PlayStation members. You can check out the Just Added game. There's an actual demo. It's called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard demo. It comes out tonight. It actually could be dropping at this hour. So for all you fans, if you are a Sony Plus member, this might be your moment. You can actually get some actual gameplay and get your hands on Resident Evil 7 tonight. That's a major announcement. That was a big bomb that got dropped. So that was one thing that was announced. Also tonight, they also announced Ratchet and Clank. They actually went. Insomnia Games actually is doing a new Spider-Man game. So they revealed that at E3. That was a little bit of a surprise. I think a lot of people didn't think that there was going to be a Spider-Man game, but the guys from Ratchet and Clank, Insomnia, they decided, let's do it. Let's roll the dice. Let's hope it's better than any of the other Spider-Man games in the past, because a lot of the times when you do a Spider-Man game, they never really pan out. They never really deliver in a way that they look, and that's just a little bit of a disaster, but we'll wait and see what happens there. Next up, we had, Crash Bandicoot's back. Yeah, Crash Bandicoot is back. They're doing remastered of 3 of his long-awaited games, so we're going to get a little something there. Plus, Crash Bandicoot is also going to be in the new Skylanders game. So for all you Skylanders fans out there, you're actually going to get an opportunity to play with Crash Bandicoot. And this is another legend of the Sony family. A lot of people love Crash. So I think the only disappointment was I think people were hoping for a Crash Bandicoot game, but we didn't get that. Then Kojima showed up. That got the crowd all revved up. And they got a new game called Death Stranding that has Norman Reedus. Now you guys know him as Daryl from The Walking Dead, and they work together on this new game. And you kind of don't really get the sense of it because you don't know what it's going to look like. But trust me, it's Kojima. I mean, he is the guy who he was the brain the brainchild of Metal Gear Solid. Kojima, what is there to say? This guy is a beast. Every time he comes out, the crowd went absolutely ballistic when he showed up. So who knows what we're gonna get? And then on top of that, we do actually had there was some Star Wars news for all you fans out there. They did announce that Lego Star Wars 7, The Force Awakens. There's a demo coming out tonight. Actually, it came out now. It's actually available for download on the PlayStation Network. And on top of that, the game itself is actually coming out in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, they'll actually drop Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Episode 7 will be available, and if you really heard it, it kind of sounded like they used a lot of the actors from the actual movie. And I don't know if that was actual clips or if they actually got Harrison Ford or all of those great actors and actresses from the movie itself. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But it looked pretty promising as well. And the biggest announcement from the Sony event was the PlayStation VR, and they actually have announced there's a price point for it. $399 for the VR system. There's going to be 50 games at launch, and they announced quite a few of them during this event. But the most notables that they did was Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing. There was some missions in that one. They announced that. And then for all you Batman fans out there, there's a new Batman Arkham VR that's going to be coming out. That we don't know if that's going to be later in the year when the VR gets released on October 13th, or if that's going to be sometime in 2017. But whatever the case may be, Sony once again proved its dominance in the gaming sector. But and one other thing was, a lot of people were talking about, well, what about for Project Nero, which is supposed to be their next 4K video gaming system? You know, we just heard today that Project Scorpio was going to be coming very soon on Microsoft. We already know for a fact that Nintendo is going with their Project NX, and actually one of the games was already confirmed for Project NX. If you didn't hear that, go back to my previous video, to one of my previous videos where we were talking about Just Dance, and that it was gonna be compatible, and that it was gonna be on Nintendo NX. So we definitely got some talk about the future of gaming and what the next generation is gonna look like. Unfortunately, Sony decided not to pull the trigger on their Project Nero. Not yet. I guess we're gonna have to wait a little longer about that, but they definitely did say that it is coming in the very near future. That this is supposed, well, according to the Etika World Network, they were saying that it was gonna be basically a compatible partner with the PS4. I think we can all call shenanigans on that. We're pretty much saying that, nah, this is probably going to be the future of the gaming system. This is going to be your next big thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, the buy rate for Sony has been unbelievable. They've actually beaten up on the Xbox One almost by a 2 to 3 to 1 ratio at this point. And I'm going to say again, Sony once again drops the mic in LA. The full piece orchestra, the way that this show felt. And the thing was, you didn't get a lot of talk. You had more games. You had more features. You had more, there wasn't many big announcements, but you didn't need it. The pacing was great. The way that the show was going, it made me jacked up for a lot of the programming throughout. I was thoroughly entertained for over the hour that it went down. At the end of the night, I mean, it was a damn near 5-star performance by Sony. They had me basically right at the beginning when they showed the first graphics of God of War all the way to the very end. I was thoroughly enthralled, to say the very least. And yeah, you can say I'm a little bit of a Sony homer because lot of the game systems that I had in the past were Sony. I had the original PlayStation. I had the PlayStation 2. I've played a lot of PS3 in the system, PS3 and PS4. So, I mean, it is definitely one of my favorite consoles, better than Xbox, better than even though Nintendo has definitely I think has declined in recent years, because I thought, I had the original Nintendo, I had N64. Those were two of my favorite consoles I ever had in my lifetime. But whatever the case may be, was a thrilling E3 for Sony, for the PlayStation crew. Big victory for them tonight. And what is the future going to be for them? We're going to have to wait and see. But I'll tell you one thing. This was amazing, and there's nothing more to say about that. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Mike Fletcher. Have a great evening. I'll see you guys in a little while, maybe about a half an hour from now, for the start of the Wrestling Forum with Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, Derek Ferrera. I don't know. Dee Woodson, she'll definitely be there. But until then, guys, have a great evening. Love you. Hugs and 8 pounds. I'm out. Have a good night. Bye-bye.